As a casual John Wick fan, I feel like I'll have an unbiased review towards this movie, which was actually pretty good. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your host Shinri here at Everything Anime Podcast, talking from anime, manga, video games, TV shows. I don't know what topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on John Wick introduces the Ballerina, or John Wick universe, a story of John Wick, whatever, the Ballerina. Now, I haven't done a movie review in a long time. I think the last movie I talked about was either The Marvels or Captain America: Brave New World. That's probably the last one we did. I was gonna review Sinners. I did like Sinners. I just felt like it already had enough hype, and I felt like people should just go see it. Oh no, I did Drop / The Woman in Black, which both movies I own on DVD. I'm buying Sinners next month. So yeah, and lately there hasn't been a lot of movies I've been wanting to really go see. Like even this John Wick movie, I was like, I'll go just because I got a free credit on Cinemark. I also seen all the final Mission Impossible movies up until this last one, and I did not go see this last one just because the last one I saw, Part 1 or The Reckoning Part 1, I know they changed it, but or it's like The Final Reckoning, but whatever the last one was called. I was kind of bored in that movie, and I like a lot of the I keep wanting to say Final Fantasy. I like a lot of the Mission Impossible movies, but I don't know, that last Mission Impossible, I was just like, I don't really care for this. And so, like, the only movies I've been looking forward to are Drop, Sinners, The Woman in the Yard, Megan 2, because we loved Megan, me and my brother, and my mom, our brothers and my mom, because I had saw that on a whim. I had saw her doing that dance in the first trailer, and I was like, oh, I want to see it for that, and I love that scene. So, yeah, there's been nothing really looking forward to. I might see 28 years later, but like, I haven't seen 28 days later or 28 weeks later in like a long ass time. And even then, I wasn't like really attached to them. I know people say it's not zombie movies, but it basically is a zombie movie. And I don't know, this trailer is just like, I don't know. But anyways, getting into why I went to see Ballerina today. Like I said, I have free credit. I like John Wick 1 a lot. John Wick 1 is great. It does one of the cardinal sins in movies: killing puppies, or killing dogs, or killing children. And they killed a dog in the movie. That's why people have a strong reaction to John Wick, because we all love dogs, and people don't like seeing dogs die in movies. They don't like seeing children die in movies. And so I had a strong connection to John Wick 1, and then John Wick 2, we were all happy that the puppy survived. And John Wick 2 was a lot of action, a lot of fun, great storytelling, a lot of improv, fighting, and stuff like that. Whenever he was like, not literally, maybe Keanu Reeves did some improv fighting, but like in the movie, like John Wick, he has to improv a lot of weapons because, you know, for some reason, everybody in John Wick got a lot of like infinite bullets, near infinite ammo until they don't. You know, you ever notice that? And I got another criticism coming up in a second, but we're going to talk about that when I talk about the Ballerina. Because it fits in all of this John Wick universe. But then John Wick 3, Parabellum with Halle Berry, that was okay. I remember being bored of that. I have not watched that one like since that one time I watched it. I've seen 1 and 2 a lot. But 3, I was like, I didn't really care for it. 4 was a lot of fun because of the blind guy. I liked how he was like a blind assassin, but like they played into it. Even though the actor's not blind, I like how they played into that with his abilities and stuff like that. And then the end of the story was pretty great with the staircase scene and all that. You know, got to get to the top of the staircase, and I like how it ended and stuff like that. But I wasn't really, even when I saw John Wick 4, I wasn't really like attached to John Wick. Again, I just had like the first and second one. The third one kind of threw me off because I didn't like it a lot. And the fourth one, I was like, okay, the blind guy kind of redeemed it for me. So when I heard about the Ballerina coming out, one, I was like, well, how does this take place? Because John Wick, spoiler alert, spoiler warning, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. John Wick died at the end of John Wick 4. So I was like, supposedly, because the dog looks off into a direction, assuming that, meaning there's going to be a John Wick 5. But anyway, the dog, it was assumed John Wick died or he's going to live a peaceful life now. So it's like, okay, well, why would you spoil that John Wick's alive in the Ballerina in the trailer? Like, why not just make it a surprise for the movie that John Wick's alive? Well, that's because John Wick, the Ballerina is supposed to take place in between John Wick 1 or 2 or 3, I believe. And then also, didn't like an actor die in John Wick? I want to look this up because there's this actor in the Ballerina that I was pretty sure had died. And again, we're going to get to the part I have like a problem with in the whole John Wick series in a second. Which actor died in John Wick series? I should have had this already ready. Yeah, Lance Reddick. He died in John Wick and in real life, but he's also in the Ballerina. So was Ballerina recorded like before this guy died? Like, what year did he die? Because I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, so he died 2 years ago. So as I thought, how is Lance Reddick and Ballerina? It must be something. Okay, I guess this was filmed before he died. Hold on a second. How could this... Okay, yeah. So the Ballerina was filmed in 2022. So they've been holding on to this movie, right? Okay, yeah. I guess it filmed in 2022, then he died a year later. So that's why he's alive. So they were holding on to this movie. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Why they held on to the movie for 3 years, I don't really know. Or 2.5 years, I don't really know. But, okay, so that makes sense to me now. Why he's alive. So... But that was kind of cool seeing him again. I know a lot of people that are fans of John Wick series are going to love seeing that guy again. And also, she died for being a new character. Oh, here's a praise before we get into negative. Because there's only like one real negative, really. A praise. They brought back the legacy character John Wick, even though he's not dead. I know this is between 2 and 3 or whatever. But... You know, when you introduce a new character, they're supposed to be stronger than the previous main character to like show like the new generation stronger. They kept John Wick a badass. They kept him the boogeyman, the boogie yaga, whatever the fuck it is. I'm sorry, probably saying it wrong. They kept him the boogeyman. Like they kept him strong. Like she fights him at one point. It's like a 2-3 minute scene, and the whole movie, like it shows her getting her ass kicked and whooped, and they're saying like you're a female. You're always gonna be weaker and stronger than a male. You gotta cheat. You gotta trick. You gotta use what you can against them. Use what you can against them. Play on your own strengths. And so the whole movie, like I said, John Wick improvises. Like, he's got guns and stuff. Like, John Wick will kill you with a goddamn pencil if he got it. He'll kill you with that damn devil fruit if he can grab it. But she relies always on other weapons and things to defeat our opponents. But it's done in very cool ways. Like, another praise is that they didn't weaken John Wick to make her hype her up. John Wick whoops her ass and, like, counters her multiple times, and it's always on top. And he's like, hey, look, I'm just saying to leave. I ain't gonna spoil nothing else. But they didn't weaken John Wick to hype her up. They kept the main legacy character, the main character of the story, the main universe guy, they kept him strong. Something Boruto, not to get into manga, not to compare apples to oranges, but something Boruto, the manga, should have did. Keep Naruto a badass. Make him the most powerful Hokage. You can bring in new villains, but you can make them Boruto villains without weakening Naruto. Just have Naruto go off on a village, have Naruto deal with something else. You ain't gotta like seal Naruto and then be like, oh, Boruto surpassed his father in less than a year with off-screen training. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Anyways, we ain't getting into that. But that's one really good praise. Another praise I have is I said, yeah, she handles her own makeshift weapons. Of the kills. There are a lot of creative kills in here. Now, I'm not saying John Wick ran out of different ways to kill people, but there's a lot of John Wick fights where it's just like some of the scenes repetitive. That's all like the blind guy in the 4th movie. The 3rd one had dogs, and the 4th one has dogs too, but the 3rd one had introduced dogs in it with Halle Berry. I like that. But I had felt like, okay, some of these kills are kind of getting old. There's a lot of creative kills in here with like flamethrowers, grenades, different ways of using grenades, different ways of exploding people's bodies. Like, I was like, okay, girl, with hammers and nails and shit. It was good. It was good. I love the creative kills. The only negative does not have to do with this movie. It has to do with all of the John Wick universe. Why is everybody a goddamn assassin? Okay, you know, there's always that scene where, like, you know, they're raising the bounties and then everybody, even the homeless people, they cell phones going off. Now, I understand, you know, assassins are trying to blend in with the humans in the real world like that. But it's just like, usually the whole town be after John Wick. The whole town be after this new girl, Eve the ballerina. And I'm just like, and I'm going to tell you one thing, another positive that makes sense for this movie as well, with the assassins being everywhere. But in the beginning, they were just everywhere. I'm like, if everybody an assassin, I need to see a little kid come out. I mean, John Wick ain't gonna kill a little kid. We do not want to see little kids get killed. But at least beat their ass, whoop their ass with a belt or something like that. I'm ready for a little kid to just come out and be like, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, cause I have a goddamn dog come out being an assassin, just pulling the trigger or shit. You know, everybody is an assassin in John Wick, like everybody. And there be so many bodies on the ground, like dead bodies everywhere. I'm like, how the whole city don't know that there's assassins or believe that there was like some kind of crazy ass event, especially John Wick 4, all them people dead on the staircase. You trying to tell me they cleaned all that up before dawn? All them dead bodies? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, and then also, another criticism, because it happened in John Wick 4 as well. You know that club scene, they repeat the club scene where like people are fighting, John Wick and a dude, this girl and a dude, they fighting in the club. Why are people still dancing while they clearly see people shooting guns, knives throwing, fist throwing, they in the club dance. You see this girl in the background like, as a gun is getting shot at, and she's just like, I was like, what is you doing? Run! That shit was funny. Whew. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. Everybody's a goddamn assassin. That's my problem with all of the John Wick universe. I mean, I understand there's supposed to be a lot of assassins. I understand, like, you know, the Continental is a safe haven for assassins. I understand that too. But the whole city cannot be an assassin. Everybody in the street can't have their cell phones going off, because that's too crazy. That's insane. Okay, now in this movie, it made sense because she goes into a town. You watching the Ballerina review, so you know I'm about to talk about the movie. So spoilers from here on. In the movie, she's going after a cult that killed her father, but you later learn her father was a part of that cult. He had escaped to give his daughter a better life. So when she's in this town, at first it seemed like, you know, this mother, daughter, this couple, they flee in the bar to, like, you know, get out of there because she start fighting this dude, and they sense like trouble coming. Even the waitress is calling, like, you think she calling the police. Everybody just come back in there with guns and knives and shit. I mean, the couple, the grandma, the waitress, they all coming out with knives and shit. And I'm just like, okay, it makes sense here because you're in a town, a cult town. A town just for a cult of assassins. You're in their town. But if this would have been the regular world, I would have called bullshit. I was like, everybody in this bar cannot be an assassin. Not everybody. Like, at one point, she fighting this husband and wife that go inside to protect their daughter. And this is before it's revealed it's a cult town. And then the mother and father come out ready to box. And they whooping her ass at first. And I was like, okay, what a little girl at? I was expecting the little girl. This is what I had called her. I said, I'm expecting that little girl to come out here and bust some moves with some knives and guns and shit. She's just like karate chop the back of her neck, but like, sleep, bitch. I was expecting something like that. That's what I'm like, at this point, you've got to introduce, you know, somebody that a little kid or something that's gonna give the baby a gun. At this point, shit, I don't know. Make it a midget, that way, you know, or a little person. I mean, I say midget. Make it a little person, that way, like, if you do gotta kill them, you know, they won't feel as bad, but make them look like a little kid first, and then it's revealed that they're a little person. I don't know. But overall, I had a great time with this movie. I went in with no expectations because, like I said, I didn't care for John Wick 3. John Wick 1 and 2 are really good movies. I own those two. I don't own 4, but I probably will own 4 because 4 was a good time. I really like The Blind Guy. But yeah, I went in with no expectations. Came out with high expectations for the next one, especially because the creative kills, the fights. I like how they didn't ruin the legacy character. They didn't make John Wick weaker or hype her up. They gave her own thing. You know, she got some badass moments. She got some badass kills. And the story for her works. Now, how you going to continue that story after that? I'm guessing the cult's still going to come after her because she killed the head of the cult. But just because you killed the head of well, sometimes you kill the head of the cult wakes up. The cult is like, oh, we was, you know, brainwashed. But according to this one, it's like, oh no, you killed the head of the snake, but the cult's still out there. The cult's still coming for you. So we don't get to see who the next villain is, but it's hyping up a Ballerina too. And it's called the Ballerina because like she has like this ballerina, like there's, well, she was once her father was killed and the cult tried to come for her, she did escape. And the main character, I forgot his name, he the one to help John Wick all the time and run the Continental. He had came and got her and took her to this like housing home where like they train assassins and whatnot. And her specifically, because the females get trained to be ballerinas as well as getting fighting and stuff like that. But if you prove yourself, then you get to go on to become an assassin. Otherwise, you just stay a ballerina. But it was good. It was good. It was good. Great movie. If you haven't seen it by now, I recommend going to see it. Even if you're going to $5 Tuesday. If you got Cinemark, use your free credit. If you got Rego, use one of your free movie passes if you don't feel like paying for it. But it was a good time. I don't want to drag this review out. It's already been 15 minutes. But overall, I just want to get my thoughts out there because, one, we haven't done many movie reviews this year because there just hasn't been much coming out. Two, I had a good time with no expectations. And then three, well, I don't got nothing for three. Anyways, I'll see you guys next video. Talk to you later. Bye.